phenomenal.
それでは早速全速前進
You wanna know what the weak point of a mech is? The fucking pilot.
Get away from her, you bitch!
His papers say he was a raven.
Protocol 3.
A pattern blue!
Welcome to On the Shoulders of Giants, a giant robot power hour discussing mechs across media, their stories, and why we love them. I'm Brian, and I'm joined by Alice.
Listeners may have noticed that this episode is in black and white. This is not indicative of the fact that we're going to be canceled in 4 issues. It's just to make sure we can get this story out to you faster.
And I'm joined by Nico.
That's right. These are my 3 beautiful Marine dads. And yeah, they served in Nam.
This week, hey kid listener, single digits of age, you'll be fine by yourself on the streets of San Francisco, right? Okay, what if I level it in a grudge match right now? You'll be fine, right? It's Mecha 1988. Let's launch into it.
Having fun isn't hard when you've got a library card. Having fun isn't hard when you've got a library card.
Brian, you've really brought one before us today. You've really
You know what I thought about?
sent us a URL.
The entire time I was like, in 60 years, when we're at a point in this project where we are digging through the bottom of the mecha barrel to get our 100% completion on anything mecha, gonna be glad this one's in the rearview mirror.
Well,
We knocked
good
this one
news
out.
is the good news about it is we've only covered half the story, and we can still cover the other half later on. So,
What?
yeah.
Oh, you didn't know?
Oh my god.
Yeah, so the ironic thing about how we came to this, listener, just to put this out there right away, you can read all 6 issues that we've discussed today of Mecha. It's just called Mecha. It's a comic book on timeldridge.com. And the ironic thing about that is that Tim Eldridge very, very kindly has those issues on his website for free. But none of those are the issues that he had anything to do with. He actually wrote the 6 next issues that were published in an anthology book that came out later on. And I do want to cover those mostly because he has posted those on the same website, and he has a bunch of his like rough, when they just storyboard a comic book before they actually like pencil
Just
it and
like
everything.
rough pencils, yeah.
Yeah, he has all of those on there too. So I really want to look at those. But yeah, this was just like I don't know. I had to take a break from Gundam.
We had Gundam fatigue.
I missed us doing.
We is a strong word there.
This. This episode was originally supposed to be Gundam Sentinel. And I was like, I want to read something, but I don't want it to be that. So I just kind of searched around for something that was just like weird and small and simple and would have been an easy one. You can read all 6 issues in probably under an hour, maybe a little more than an hour.
Depends on how much you're having to squint at your phone screen.
Yeah. The lettering changes for the last issue, and it's a bit rough. I will say that.
There's a lot of changes throughout in terms of one, color, as Alice alluded to, but 2, I definitely feel like they come in really strong with art and lettering and just like all of the technical parts of the comic. And then by the end, it's kind of like, when we watch an anime and it's like, these last 5 episodes really got kind of, did you use all the budget, buddy?
Yeah. Which I think this is a great way we can talk about something we have never really even kind of glanced at on the show, which is American comic books and how they're made and how
Lord, forgive me. I'm going back to the old me. Real ones
exactly.
know there was a period of my life where I was regularly at my local comic book store picking up stacks of 10 to 20 floppies of single issue American comics.
Yeah, I went through a comic phase too. I still have exactly one of those. It's a cloth one. It's not the full long cardboard boxes, but I trimmed down to just the little freaks that I found that I never want to get rid of. But yeah, modern comics. Hey, who can afford them?
For real.
Not me. I quit when I hit about $7,000 invested and took it all to half price books and got about $250 for it. So
that's how it is.
Yep.
Yeah, my dad or somebody gave me a big box of obscure comic books when I was little, and that was mostly what I got by on because I was allowed to get like one book that was coming out a year ish. We were very poor. But
right.
So I had that, and none of those were anything like there were some really old, obscure like X-Men titles or anything. But I last year I was very I got very into the career of Alan Moore through the Shelf by Genre unit on his work, and so I read a bunch of his crap.
Damn, own on Alan Moore. How much did you enjoy From Hell?
I loved From Hell, actually. I think From Hell is super good, but that's basically like I was interested in this mostly because I think it's fun to talk about comic books, especially since we've talked about manga so much. And so this is just like in terms of like, is this part of a franchise? What is this? This is a Dark Horse comic book. This is from 1988 when Dark Horse was still very scrappy. They were not a Marvel at this time, and I guess they're never going to be a Marvel, but they're closer to Marvel now than they were.
They're number 4 in the rankings, right under Image, pretty much.
Yeah,
which, I mean,
that's what I was going to say.
That's as good as you can do as an indie. Is to be number 4.
That's what I was gonna say, because like when I started reading comic books, I think was a period when a lot of people got into them, which was like shortly after the Avengers came out, when we were still in the first honeymoon phase of the MCU and everything. And there really was this feeling that like Image was where you went, okay, Alice, I'm gonna say something controversial yet brave. Image was like the A24 of comics.
Yeah, kind of.
And Dark Horse was kind of the CW network of comics, which is rough because I do believe Dark Horse is who brought us Hellboy, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
Yeah,
and Sin City and a bunch of other really
they
really
had some
cool
definite
ones.
bangers. But I during the period I was into comics, Image was ascendant, and Dark Horse was down. But you can't take out in America the big two of DC and Marvel. So yeah.
In terms of specifically Mecha, I won't get too super into it because again, at Tim Eldredge? Tim Eldred.com.
Tim Eldredge, which is Tim Eldredge, creepy tentacly one.
ELDRED Eldred, TimEldred.com. You can basically like I said, the blog post that contains the 6 PDFs is basically just it's like a 15-minute read. You can read all about how
dude was
this
in
was
the middle of COVID and said, "I'm going to expose on my entire comic career on my blog."
Yeah,
we are losing this part of the internet.
I know.
Thank you, terrible AI crawlers and AI web pages. This is honestly just a fun read if you like the comic industry and like an artist perspective. It's really cool. The storyboarding alone is worth clicking to this webpage.
Exactly. And the thing that I love about this blog post too is this is such a microcosm of how so many random little comics like this were made, which is I went to a con, I showed some guy some sketches, and it turned out that some guy was an executive at Dark Horse who had bitten off more than he could chew in terms of all the things he was working on. So he said, please take this franchise over. That happened an alarming amount of times in the comic book industry.
I actually did a bunch of research into Dark Horse itself, which I think kind of
lay this on me, Alice.
this.
I was so excited.
So Dark Horse Comics started as a comic book store out of Portland, Oregon. And then eventually they decided, what if we just helped fund small indie comic book writers? And this was during, look, modern people, when they think of a Comic-Con, they think of the most overwrought, horrible end-game capitalism fuckfest of buy the Blorbo, get the Gorgon, get the Splort Shitto.
Get the
But back in the
Gorgon.
day, it was literally, hey, I have all of these back issues of out-of-print things, dig through them for 20 hours, and also you can meet the artist who wrote Blorb Shitto, issue number 17, and then they just all met each other. So Dark Horse started because of the guy who was in charge of the comic book store was like, what if we just made comics? And that's kind of where it went from there. It never really... The end game of Dark Horse Comics is it has been bought out by the same company that bought out THQ Nordic. So we can officially say that capitalism won again, baby.
Is that fucking Embracer Group?
Yes, Embracer Group owns Dark Horse now.
Yeah, they're the ones with the Saudi sovereign fund money or something.
They also have voluntarily approved their workers' union in 2023.
Yeah,
so
hard to know how to feel about Embracer Group. They made a whole, but they bought so many video games is where I know them from. Like they bought Deep Silver, they bought a bunch of stuff. And they just have this huge portfolio of games that it doesn't seem like they know what to do with. And also apparently Dark Horse. I didn't know they bought Dark Horse. That's crazy.
But the basic premise of Dark Horse is that this was a writer and artist first, so their profit-sharing split with their writers and artists was bigger than DC and Marvel ever would be, as well as letting creators keep their IP that they brought to it. So it was a really good play. It was the artist version of a comic book company. But where it kind of devolves from that is that everyone at Dark Horse seemed to have their pet projects. We'll get into it because of the preambles in the first 2 issues about how the person behind it is basically saying, I am too busy to write all of the comics that I want to write. I am so busy all the time. Oh God, I'm so busy. Which is cool. Imagine only a couple of auteurs or authors being the only people you could tap for your artistry. Now we have a deluge of artists, but they can't break into the industry because the industry is so closed off. But that's basically Dark Horse is the reason this exists is the reason that a million little Dark Horse comics exist. They didn't all become Sin City and Hellboy. They were small 6-issue runs, which is a reasonable run for a comic book. I know it sounds really weird to say, but a 6-issue run is a commitment by a company for 6 months of printing and shipping to comic book stores.
And so, for this, it was more like 10 because they kept getting delayed and shit. So,
Yeah. But that's really all you need to know about Dark Horse. You can get really into the weeds on this, but it's basically 6 white dudes with beards who didn't have enough time to do all of the cool ideas they had.
Randy Stradley is the guy that Alice was talking about that didn't have enough time to write this. He wrote the 6 issues that we read today.
Yeah. I don't know why I did a woo for Portland. This is a Seattle and Fantagraphics household.
Either.
Yeah, Portland, as listeners may or may not know, is my mortal enemy.
Pacific Northwest needs real problems.
Yeah, no, besides the Dark Horse Fantagraphics war that Fantagraphics lost 20 years ago. Still around, though, baby.
I also want to shout out Alan Moore's What We Know About Thunderman. That's a novella that you can read at the end of his Illuminations collection. And it is just basically it's fiction, but it is such an evenly reverent and cynical microcosm of being in the comics industry. It is such a fantastic novella. If you want to read someone writing about their at the kind of twilight years of their career ish, looking back on comics and how comics have worked and how comics have evolved and how comics were birthed as a cultural icon in the UK and the US, you should read What We Know About Thunderman. It's so surreal and cool and fantastic. And this, to me, it's the way to understand someone who worked on this for so long and how they feel about it. So I'm sure Stradley and everyone else who worked on this would agree with me that it's at least accurate to how someone would feel about it. Yeah, so this was written by Randy Stradley. The mecha design and penciling was done by Harrison Fong, who was basically shipped straight to Dark Horse from I believe Vietnam.
Drop ship your Vietnamese artists.
Yeah, this was his first big thing. And Eldred says on his blog that he found Fong a little bit messy. I guess I agree. I think the mecha designs are pretty cool for what we're looking at here.
Yeah, it's you can see the fingerprints. It's cited in the beginning. The writer talks about, Macross is name checked as an influence on this. Gundam is obviously name checked as an influence on this. 2 other things do y'all remember what they were?
Orgus and Heavy Metal.
Heavy Metal made sense. Yeah.
Well, and the lettering for the first 5 issues was John Workman, who was the editor at Heavy Metal magazine. So,
also Harrison Fong did Robotech.
Oh, sick!
It's not called out, but Harrison Fong did art for the Robotech comics.
That's cool. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, but you could see fingerprints of stuff that was coming out of Japan, like especially again in the intro, like the writers having to be like, hey, if you haven't been keeping up with what's coming out of Japan, there's this cool new thing called Mecha. They even have to give you a pronunciation guide, which I love.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, it's
that was great.
Mecha.
That's such a cool thing to read. Like if you're,
Time capsule.
You've got, in the 80s at this point, like the syndicated anime that you may have watched are things like Space Captain Harlock or like Astro Boy. Like you might not have a Gundam rattling around in your head, as a general audience, the way the kids do today.
And I like that we're getting to see, because we've talked a lot, I think, over the course of the podcast to date. We've talked a lot about things coming to Japan secondhand, talking about, especially like with Kojima, the influence of exported American action movies.
Right.
We've talked about like interpretive moves of cultural products that have been exported. This is so fun because we're getting it back.
Yeah.
It's like, the fact that Gundam is called Gundam because it's a portmanteau of gun and freedom. And like, there were so many things that Tomino was playing with. And like, there's such an American cultural export. And then it's like, that comes back to us. And then we get things like this, where it's like, okay, this has been exported back to us. And it's so funny because, like you said, Alice, it is a time capsule. This is so 80s. It's got like Captain Planet energy. It's really fun. It's like really kind of like, it is so funny to see. And especially coming out of an indie, one thing that I felt really good about this coming out of Dark Horse that was fun is because Marvel and DC are deeply part of the American cultural machine. And you are never going to have Marvel and DC produce a plot about how the American Air Force kidnapped a child from international waters and drugged him almost to death. And like everyone in this comic is arrayed against their regime in some way instead of it just being the Russian.
I was really surprised by that. And I was surprised by the Russian too, because oftentimes, like, especially in the 80s, like, This comes out a year after Top Gun exploded the entire industry of making art that had anything to do with the military. And yet you have this like Russian character who like she doesn't have a whole lot of screen time, but she has like an interiority, and like by the end she's like made certain sets of decisions about like the way she's gonna pilot and what she's here for. And I think are so interesting in terms of like, if you have a Soviet character in the 80s, they are a mustache twirling, like, I believe in Mother Russia, I will kick a puppy type shit. You know what I mean?
Bad guy.
And she's like,
Russian Guyevich, bad guy.
Yeah, and she's like, I have issues with like the military industrial complex, and like I have a connection to. She has like a brain powered connection to her mech that is so interesting to me.
Yeah.
So that stuff is really, really cool.
There was something I meant to check in on with you before. We're going to take a brief second for the Top Gun minute.
Sure.
Alice, as you are aware, because I know that you went, Top Gun was re-released in theaters recently. Did you take advantage of the ability to purchase a memorial goose helmet popcorn holder?
Oh my God.
Because I was offered one at Cinemark.
I don't believe in commemorative popcorn buckets. And I know I'm sitting in a room you can all see full of bullshit that I've collected over the years. No, because Goose kind of sucked.
Goodness gracious, great balls of fire!
Damn. Roast on him and he can't even protect himself.
No, I did go and see it just because, I was going to see that. And the sonic booms sound great in a theater.
Oh, yeah. That's that.
No,
yeah.
I saw it at a theater I saw it at my local indie movie theater that did not have commemorative and has never had commemorative buckets.
I'm so sorry. I should have picked you one up. It was only $40 human dollars. $40.
Like half those are in the trash can out.
Oh yeah,
back
fully.
They didn't sell them.
All right, sorry, Brian. I just had to break in because when they offered me the Goose Memorial popcorn skull, basically, I was like, "Hey, I wonder if Alice
that's like
got
especially
one.
grim. Like that,
Why? What happened to Goose?
When I stopped at the counter and I took a picture because I was gonna send the picture to Alice and I never did. I stopped and took a picture and they were like, "Oh, do you want the Maverick one? We have that too." And I'm like, you could conceivably have gotten both helmets under your arm.
You didn't tell me that there was a Maverick one. I need you to go back to Cinemark.
Yeah, the Maverick one kind of makes a little bit more sense. It's like
The goose one got me because it's like a grim totem.
Exactly. Memento Mori ass
haunted
shit.
popcorn bucket. Anyway, Brian, back to what we're doing.
Back to a couple little production things. So yeah, after like Alice alluded, after 2 issues, the comic went to black and white. There's some fun, the Dark Horse is cool with this too. Is they'll have here's how things are going at the press today type little blurb at the beginning of their issues. And this one was very interesting because they again, Dark Horse has this like artist first. It enables them to have this like kind of smarmy attitude when it comes to talking about like the executive decisions that are being handed down. Yeah. And this one was like, well, we had to go down to black and white because these are just taking too long to produce and we're all too busy. And
they said it was a 7-week production delay. Which RIP to your colorist, because they did mention that at the beginning that they had a specific colorist, and I think he turned in some work. I think there's some good color pages.
There's
in here.
some great coloring. Colorist Steve Matson, actually known for creating Boris the Bear, which is like a anthro grimdark bear who like has guns. I don't know, comic books, guys.
America.
Yeah. He's doing a great job. But yeah, it went to black and white, and I liked the little detail that it was like they were afraid this wasn't going to sell anymore because they don't think black and white comic books sell, which is just a ludicrous idea to me. I think actually the black and white stuff looks pretty good in this. And when you try to colorize a comic book that was black and white, it often looks like asshole. Yeah. So I disagree. But yeah, the little smarmy quote was well, what they don't understand is that it's really just that bad black and white books don't sell. And it's like that hits it on the head kind of, because it's kind of like manga, right? Where it's like, yeah, there's this, I mean, it's the capitalist impulse, right? We have to be producing at a certain rate, otherwise we will fail. And tends to crush artists underfoot in that way.
This is such a funny era we're heading into for comics anyway, because the 90s and aughts, comics crash. And a major reason that they do, at least on the Marvel side, because I once... you did the deep dive on Dark Horse, Alice. When I was into Marvel Comics, I was not just into the comics, I also read a couple of histories. We're heading into a period where so much investment was put into covers that it legitimately caused major business, like, catastrophes.
So strange.
There was so much work. Because, like, sales were falling off anyway. It's competing with other types of media. We've literally CDs are on the horizon. But, like, it's competing with television. It's competing with home video. It's competing with
each other.
With each other in a major way.
Cannibalizing the remaining market.
But basically, they leaned into a collector market. And they were like, okay, to subsidize like the rest of what we're doing, we've got all these foil Spider-Man covers and shit. And like, it is really funny to have an indie talk about, okay, these are the priority choices we had to make, when it's like, it's not like any of those decisions were better or worse than the decisions that were being made by people who had ludicrously more resources.
Just want to interject real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Currently, the cheapest Maverick helmet I can find on eBay is $63 and $20 in delivery.
Hey, that's not too bad.
You could have made the best investment of your life, Nico. These are selling. These are ended prices.
Made a 50% profit. Oh, and I'm pretty good at forging signatures. I could have gotten a Tom Cruise on there.
Do you think there are any of these on Poshmark? Do you think the kind of person who would buy one of these would
Alice,
go to Poshmark?
Log off Vinted. Stop looking for the Maverick helmet on Vinted. Lock in for Mecha. I gotta say, do you think the comic failed because the SEO wasn't good? Sorry.
Stupid. Yeah, Alice, what you should be looking for is...
When you're the only thing labeled Mecha in America in 1988, you own the SEO.
Yeah, you were kind of killing it.
I will say, when Brian posted the forecast and it just said Mecha,
it was so funny.
Love seeing people's reactions.
I was like, because people were like, what is this? And I was like, well... Because at first what I had typed out was Dark Horse Mecha, and I was like, that like looks weird. And then I was like Mecha 1988, and I was like, oh, that also looks weird. And so then I settled on Mecha because I thought it looked better just on the image, and also it's funny when people are like, what? Just Mecha? You're just gonna talk about Mecha? Just whatever?
Yeah. We're just gonna get on the mic and be like, hey, y'all heard about Mecha?
No, this is a self-contained story. No, it's funny too, because when I found this, I was a little bit worried. Okay, there's some light Orientalism going on in here, but it's not as bad as I was afraid it was going to be. So there's that.
I think it's interesting because I do think it probably changes the dynamic that the primary artist is Asian.
Yeah.
That makes a difference because we've had a couple of scandals now at different publishers where they're putting out comics and the writer is under a Asian sounding nom de plume, whether that be Chinese or Japanese, and then it comes out it was a white guy. There's a really wrong way to do this, and I do feel like, again, I mentioned Captain Planet, but it's like we were in an era where people were almost like really jazzed about globalism. They were like, hey, we know about like First Nations in Australia. That's crazy, right? Whoa. Like there's like
That's true. That's a good point.
Right? Like
that's a good point.
Was this almost like it was Orientalist, but it was almost like this cheesy enthusiasm. Because it's like we could video call with someone from Japan now. Wow, like there's this kind of energy to it, which I think is really fun.
To Alice's point earlier too, being the only thing called Mecha in 1988, if you look at the feedback, which is mostly fans of things have always been really stupid, and that's just a statement that I'm going to make.
Yep. Hey, OSG official stance.
But as a podcast.
Show, fuck you.
Well, and I was gonna say too, as a podcast where we are sitting here into the microphone being fans of things, I'm allowed to say that. The only thing people had to compare this to is Robotech, basically. So that's just kind of like an interesting like thing for it to have. I cannot imagine something being this sort of genre groundbreaking in terms of cultural import anymore because of globalism.
I mean, let's move through the summary and then get into it. Because I have so many thoughts about this. I really don't want to jump into it.
Let's do. Alice? Do you have anything else before I summarize?
I love the Venture Brothers.
God, yes. All right. Quick summary. This is gonna. All right, everyone strap in. This is a very complicated story, so I'm gonna need you to stay with me here.
Okay.
All across the world, people are awakening ancient metallic battle machines called Mecha in response to a looming alien threat. Plot twist, forget all that. It's the age of Top Gun now, so we're going to stow all that shit and make it about the Ruskies. A teen boy named Terry is given a mech by an ancient Aboriginal man, and right now I don't really have the mental acuity to bloviate about the 20th century French philosopher who have looked at the path of blood Europe carved all over the world and said, oh my God, I have to let everyone know what I think about this. So I'm just going to say rest in peace, King. I would have just read a comic about you piloting mechs. Where is the ancient Aboriginal mech pilot?
Yep.
We get some espionage hijinks, an incredibly damning portrayal of the American military, especially juxtaposed to our Russian stand-in, and whatever the fuck Hire's outfit is again. Anyway, aliens are coming, and there's an ancient superstructure under the ocean being awakened by Norwegian folks. We end
Norwegians be doing that.
Yeah,
I saw the thing.
Bjorn Seth does not sound French to me. We end with all the international mecha pilots forced under one roof in said superstructure as it abruptly pulls an orphan and responds to the alien threat. I gotta be honest, I don't really know what's going on here. Everyone's on a spaceship at the end. That's kind of where we're at.
I love
That's where we're at for the next half of the story. I love Votoms. I love Super Dimension Fortress Macross.
Love the Power Rangers. Love all that. Yeah.
I love Isekai. We'll get into this. This is an Isekai for at least one character.
Oh, yeah. Let's take a break.
What do you have, stranger?
Yeah, you all got any of them podcasts on tap?
Now, why on earth you gotta go and ask a stupid question like that in front of all these nice people?
Now, no trouble, no harm. I'm just a humble mecha enjoyer done crossed the dry lands looking to soothe my parched throat. Ain't mean nothing by it. You come sashaying into my saloon, all flowery words and whatnot, and you want a mecha podcast. Let me guess, you want one with images on his website and content warnings in the description. Fucking Yankee. Well, sure, that would be ideal. And I bet you want one that runs $1 a month Ko-Fi membership for access to a Fast and the Furious podcast that's currently publishing its first episode. Well, that's mighty specific, Hoss, but yes, I think that'd do me fine. Try On the Shoulders of Giants, stranger, where the cars don't fly bomb shot.
Well, goddamn, barkeep, I'll never go thirsty again.
Subscribe to our Ko-Fi at ko-fi.com/osgpod. ko-fi.com/osgpod. Welcome back from the break. Issue 1, First Contact. People are getting in mechs. This is cool. I like this like montage of like cutaways to different mech activations. The first one we see is higher.
I want to do psychic damage to part of our listenership, which is we start with spelunking. You can't just crawl into small caves that you can't get out of, and you might find a mech. Crawl into small caves, everybody.
Did they say they were in Kentucky or Tennessee? But
Tennessee.
It is well known that there are cave structures in the Appalachians that have so many body counts that like it is so funny to me that they're like, yeah, let's just send this fucking guy spelunking in this cave. It really is. Hey, go to Mammoth Cave.
This is higher. He is our he's very
All-American.
He's very Top Gun. He's very we talked about this in the Fast and the Furious 1 episode. There's a certain kind of all-American boy in the era going from this into the early 90s that I feel like Hire represents. He's listening to rock and roll music. He's making quips. He's making puns out of his own name. He's never taking anything seriously until his boyfriend is killed.
R.I.P. to a king. I immediately was vibing with this because I have seen this executed in a way that was cool in a book that I ultimately came out so that I came out on this very admittedly disjointed older project. Like I was so much more enthused by Mecha and what it is doing than I was by the book Sleeping Giants by Sylvain Nouvel, which is one I've looked at bringing to the podcast. The premise is that like when a woman is a girl, she falls through a hole in the earth and finds a giant hand under her family's land. And it turns out there are pieces of one mech scattered across the earth that have to be excavated and reconstructed.
I thought you were saying like generally when any woman is a girl, she will fall through a hole in the earth.
Yeah, that happens to every woman.
When you fall in a hole, that's all you need. Okay? There is still time. Go out to a construction site.
And this is also Mazinger, right? Like the ancient mechs that were just there from the
return of this idea of the ancient mech. And like I said, like I had seen that in Mazinger, and then I had seen that in Sleeping Giants. And like I said, I mean, Sleeping Giants has some interesting stuff going on, but ultimately I was like, cool idea, poor execution. So when people started just like finding mechs or say doing a fun little hop off of a cliff and finding a mech, I was like, actually, this rules. I love this.
There's some great like I'm hoping we get more about what's her name? Alice, the suicide woman?
Or Miyako?
Japanese woman in my notes.
Miyako, come on, she has a
Miyako,
name.
okay. Miyako, there's like some we have like I think off the bat they know that they're not going to be able to tell the story like the most detailed story imaginable in only 6 issues. So we're getting a lot of like very efficient like it is clear that Miyako was going to commit suicide by jumping off a cliff, and like we see like that's very, very small panel of like an envelope, and it's like implicated that she was in some sort of like I don't know, like love affair or like political scandal, or there's like a communication happening there that's like causing her to be
literally
in this
one page. It's very, and they do well with all of these. So again, these issues are 28 pages. The reason for that is because comics have to be thin enough that you can use the traditional comic binding. So they have to be a limited thing. We get 3 pages for All America. We get 2 pages for Russian Womanvich, which is, you'll never guess we're digging in Siberia again. Love it.
Brian though, Tunguska mentioned. Sorry, I love whenever they mentioned the fucking explosion in Russia from 1908. Hell yeah, brother. It's a mech. It's a meteorite.
The Nordic person I always got is kind of a Justin Theroux character, the guy who went around and did a bunch of shit on a boat with his crew.
Sure.
I thought you said Justin Trudeau. I was like, what's the Prime Minister of Canada got to do with it?
Isn't that the guy who did all the, like, going around in a boat? And there's all the videos of him and all of his strapping young lads on their boat together doing nautical shit.
Alice is possibly talking about Paul Theroux, but who can ever be sure?
Yeah, and then he married or he dated Katy Perry or something. Yeah, same guy.
Why does she keep turning up? Why is she in the vessels?
I love that. Okay, the American soldiers. So by this point, the major powers kind of know what's going on, and so they're trying to trigger a specific person to touch these.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our American guys look like they're dressed at the Roswell event, right? Like it's very evoking visual imagery.
They all have like Return of the Jedi hair, and it's very like there's like a weird military energy at the beginning of this, which makes like the sort of stuff that's going on with them in the mid towards the end very interesting, which is like
what did when George Lucas was always talking, he was trying to evoke a certain kind of old comic book with his visual imagery with Star Wars serial comic books. Serials.
I don't know. I know about like the Kurosawa influences. I don't know about the.
Anyway,
was
these
it
guys
like
are
the
wearing,
30s adventure comics?
Yes.
Yeah.
This feels like it's a distant memory past of that.
But I also feel like it's an amalgamation. Like one of the things we talked about in the OFMS team episode is like muddled signifiers. I feel like there's some of what you're talking about going on, Alice. There's definitely adventure tropes, especially the spelunking and stuff and going to Siberia and all this. But there's also like a fun retranslation of like, what if you were consuming anime from like the 70s and like think about the hair and outfits we had in 0079. Like so much of this struck me as like the American reinterpretation of like that kind of stuff folded into immediate references to hand, which would have been like post-Vietnam BDUs, military hardware, stuff like that. But then there's also like there's a point where we get a shot of a boat and it is not the submarine crazy future past base. It's just a boat. It looks like this weird. I don't think I snipped it. It just looked so fucking weird. It looks like a sci-fi boat, and everything else looks pretty late 70s, early 80s.
They got Novus
but the
Noah.
boat, it's just like a
and then within the genre space too, like there's we're seeing a bunch of different mechs, and like there's a lot of like there's a lot of great like very disparate design stuff going on here. Like we see the Russian woman's mech, and her mech is called Dancer, and it looks very much like the Sid Mead Turn A Gundam designs, like the Wadom. It looks like it's just got lots of rectangles, and its arms are like really big and lanky. Versus like Terry, our protagonist, the boy child's mech, looks kind of like a Neo Zeon design. Yeah. Like it's got like a rounded.
Looks like an A to B.
Yeah, it does kind of look like an A to B. The O, or what's that? I'm specifically thinking of it's from Double Zeta. It's that yellow one that has like the like weird eyes. You know what I'm talking about?
Off the top of my
like
head, but
Zissa. AMX 102 Zissa.
I posted a panel where we first see the American Air Force mechs when they're going to get the kids' mech. And it really does look like a Macross and a Gundam. Like in silhouette, they added some stuff, like the head designs are a little different, but it really does look like in silhouette, there's a Macross, and in color scheme, there's a Gundam. And they are called the Jolly Green Giant and Iron Maiden.
Yeah. And like Jolly Green Giant, that's so silly. I actually kind of like it.
I do like the fact that the military commander clearly wants to call them Unit 01 and Unit 02. First of all, Ava has that pinned down. I know it's not out yet. Don't worry about it. But it's specifically that Hire has named his mech Iron Maiden, and then he jokingly refers to his buddy Keen's mech as the Jolly Green Giant. But like that's the best we have as far as names.
Fun fact. The Jolly Green Giant is a squadron in the Air Force that does search and rescue.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of liked that it was the Air Force guy that his mech was called that.
It's also the guy on the peas. So
thanks, Brian. Reporting in from the produce aisle.
from Kroger. Yeah.
So what if you had three dads?
What if you had three dads and no mom and okay.
What was that? There is an old animated series that is about like a pair of twins who is with their dad on a boat. They go and do adventures. I swear to God, this is real.
I don't know about twins. I know about Johnny Quest. That was what I thought of.
That's it. I got that mixed up with the other young crime-solving boy.
He doesn't have a twin brother. He has a weird little turbaned assistant boy we're not going to talk
What
about
are you
it.
talking
It's Johnny
about?
Quest.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, he has a Chang as a to Tintin.
But it's like cockroaches because in one panel we have Terry. Okay, so we're in the South Pacific. This is where Terry's going to find his mech. We're in an island in the South Pacific that is uncharted and
they sent mechs to all the major groups, and white people are about to take the indigenous people's
Yes.
ones. Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, we spend like a weird amount of panels talking about how they're the first people to ever touch this island, a very white person thing to think. I was like, oh, this is cool, like whatever. And then not a page later, we're finding the wandering Jew and the mystic oriental figure collapse into one freaky guy. And he's like rattling off all this prophetic language. He's wearing a loincloth. He has a Jesus beard. And he's telling this little white boy that he must inherit this ancient war machine. It is so insane.
At first, it seems like he's going to possess the little white boy, which was kind of funny because he's like, I will be reborn as a young man to fight in this mech. And the little white boy's like, cool, dude.
Bong is drawing this guy making some faces that is like, that colors this as some kind of like ancient Faustian bargain that's kind of cool. But no, he really is just being like, I've been waiting on this island to give this giant mech to the first white boy I see.
Oh, well, maybe he knew that there was going to be like one really cool artistic panel of the white boy piloting. So the third image that I posted in our chat is, I would say for me, one of the standout visual images in this, which is where we see the Terry, the kid, reacting to visual stimulus in the mech in a way that moves its head. And they've done this like 70s, 60s,
Circuitry
70s style,
kind of thing.
like, but it's also kind of like Art Deco or like the modernist kind of aesthetic. It's really interesting.
Mod, like 70s mod.
Yeah, mod.
Kitsch.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
I thought that was so interesting. And it is something that
looks
kind of
really
falls out. They
cool.
do some good stuff with pencils and ink later in different spots, but when we lost color, I feel like we also lost some of this because this doesn't maybe read as easily without color. And
It definitely wouldn't. You need the pink and the orange to like kind of really bring the timeline out of that. And then, but like for this old man, like there's some stuff going on here I really like, which is that he talks about the mech as his dream self. He's got this like kind of cool language going on when it comes to the mechs. There's so many avenues you can take with this other than the United States military shows up and kills him instantly. But that is what happens instead. So
an alien bug shows up and kills him instantly.
That's what happens. Yeah, the alien bug, which
may or may not be affiliated with the U.S. military. But I do think this is interesting because, like, I don't know about y'all, but like there was a period of time, like I said, there was this like funky globalism thing that was happening as like a positive after effect of the cancerous capitalist globalism that would, sow its horrible seeds that we're reaping like crazy now. But like there was such an interest. It was, often a superficial interest, but it was like this interest in like whenever you saw hand-drawn little illustrations, there was like a little Vietnamese kid with a little straw hat, and there'd be a little African kid with a little, and it was baby's first DEI initiative kind of, but it almost seemed to come out of this enthusiasm for like, hey, there's all sorts of people all over the world. And those depictions were always shallow, but it was like there was this kind of like funny kind of enthusiasm for these ideas. And I remember there being such a cultural hangover of like white people finding out about the concept of the dream time and like Aboriginal beliefs. Hey, did you ever play the Sly Cooper games? There's like a whole thing about the Aboriginal dream
raccoon?
time for no the raccoon? With the raccoon? Oh, yeah.
Huh. Okay.
It's great. Like I said, there were so many weird cultural things where it's like we got our teeth into it in America and we were like, whoa, this is weird, and like chewed on it for a while, and then only later we came back and we're like, hey, so Frantz Fanon called and he said that was racist.
Are you telling me that the twin spirits in the 2006 video game Prey might not have been accurate representations of two spirit people?
We were so busy finding out one or two facts and getting really excited about them.
Yeah. And then being like, I'm the one that needs to tell this story.
Don't worry, colored people. Which is what they were still saying.
Get thee behind me. Issue 2 on the inside looking out. Great title for a Mecha comic, by the way. I just like that. I just like that a lot.
The alien design. I like the alien
the pink
mecha.
one. Yeah.
The pink one. This is the most clarity we're going to see from one of the alien mechs is in this first issue. And I think they really evoke that that sense of awe that you get from Super Robo. I think you see a lot of that reflected in here of people are just kind of standing around looking up at these things.
It doesn't look like speaking of issue 2, we're going to see Miyako fighting a bunch of aliens in a second, and none of them look like this, which is interesting.
Something that the writing really does well is because like with manga, you don't always see written text that supports what you're seeing or expands on it. So to quote, with a reptilian hiss, lacquered steel petals blossom outward from the intruder's chest, revealing a stamen that fills the air with a high-pitched hum, this time sending more than just an echo into the void. This is 2 small panels at the bottom of a page, but it's beautiful. It really evokes a lot of the alien nature of these.
Stradley's writing is so strong in these sometimes.
Yeah.
It's really good. Like that any time we kind of peel off of the moment to moment and are getting like narration blocks, those have great.
It's from 1, but I want to read this because it is really beautiful. It's exactly the thing you were just describing, Alice. It's talking about the alien arriving on Earth, the one that ends up killing the guy and that they end up fighting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it says elsewhere, and this is over a whole bunch of panels of something like entering the atmosphere and careening off the Earth and crossing the ocean. Elsewhere, an intruder, a blazing sphere of light, like the seed of a rampant sun, charges earthward, mysteriously undetected by even the most sophisticated spy satellites. The intruder hits the atmosphere screaming. The scream builds in intensity, becoming a roar, the roar of a wild beast about to strike. Okay, go off. Damn.
Yeah.
It's just
you could have
good,
just had those cool ass panels of this doing like omnidirectional movement. Instead, we're gonna flavor it.
Well, and it does something we talked about with visual novels in both our Stories from Soul episode and also in our Coquette Dragoon episode, which is that visual novels often, they give you a visual, obviously, and you have text, but the text will often describe things that the visual can't give you, like smells, sensations, like tactile details. That's something that we're definitely seeing in these comics that I think you're right, Alice. I'm sure it's present in manga, but I don't have any examples coming to mind where like those descriptive boxes are popping up to give me missing sensory information in the same way. I feel like that tends to be conveyed, honestly, more in sound effects, which we don't see a lot of in this. Like we see some sound effects, but like especially in the colored pages that they were doing, there really wasn't as much sound effect work.
Yeah.
Anyway, Brian, tell me about my Japanese wife.
Can we talk about the worst isekai of all time?
I mean, like, yeah, it's funny because maybe I missed this, but if I hadn't read one of the last little like after sections, I would never have known that this was Miyako. I genuinely had no idea who this was until the very end of the comic. But this is Miyako, the Japanese woman.
Yeah, I did too. But it was only because I think everybody else is doing like really, they're embroiled in a more ground level plot. Miyako, the last thing we saw her do was commit suicide, and then somebody's talking about, I'm in hell, there are 1,000 demons, my life is pain, I'm fighting forever, I am Doom Guy. And I'm like, oh, that's gotta be Miyako.
Yeah, Miyako's doing Doom Guy.
Yeah, she's fighting
samurai-esque, forged on the anvil of my pain, tempered in the glare of dying suns.
Again, it's a little bit Orientalist, but she is also going hard, and I love that this is the interiority of a female character.
And so, yeah, her mech is great. And then because I didn't know this is Miyako, I didn't read this as charged in that way. I just thought it was like very cool, like a very interesting voice. But then like when it is revealed that it was her, I was like, okay, so she's going to have like this. What I do like about her is that she seems to understand more about what's going on than anyone else. And I hope we get that from her in the next few issues. But
as far as the order of events go, what seems to have happened to Miyako is she leaves her suicide note, she takes her sprightly little hop off the cliff, which I keep mentioning just because the way they illustrated, I'm so used to seeing suicides illustrated as like someone goes over head first or just steps off. They illustrated her doing like a jump in a video game. She's got like a leg up. Anyway, she takes a sprightly hop off a cliff and dies. And then the next thing she knows, she's in space doing Infinite Space War. And it's so funny to me that, like, imagine you are a presumably young Japanese woman who's in a crisis, and the last thing you know is you've killed yourself, and the next thing you know is you are in fucking Coquette Dragoon or something. It's like, holy shit.
Her mech looks kind of like a Nadesco Estivalis, but if it had a big rosebud on the back that like opens up.
Yeah,
it's probably the best mech. It's the most, because it has such a unique shape and has such like a weird device going on with it. It is probably the most readable. Like, I like Terry's mech, but it sometimes it's very hard to read. Especially when we get into black and white. It's just like, I am having a hard time discerning what's going on here.
Yeah. And I think another thing I like about Miyako's story is that I think one of the reasons she's more involved and seems to know what's going on is she is one of the only people who immediately starts using the mech for what it seems to be for, which is fighting aliens. Like, Terry does this, but like, she is immediately out in space doing this. Everybody else is like, I'm working for the Air Force. The Russians are using this as a template to mass produce. Like, I'm using it for underwater research. Like, everybody else is using their shit for like not its intended purpose. And like, there's a comment that the Norwegian scientist makes later, which is like, yeah, we found this crazy superstructure and like half the lights wouldn't turn on, and then suddenly all the lights did turn on. It's like, I feel like Miyako got in her cockpit and everybody else had half their lights off, and she starts shooting aliens and the whole cockpit lights up, because like, that's what
you
you're
kind of need
doing.
the ensemble. Yeah.
Right.
Meanwhile, the U.S. government's doing some heinous shit to a child. That's fun. We got Cyber New type shit going on.
They do deploy a Spruance class destroyer, the 1975 edition. Love it. Love to see it. It's got the silliest little cargo helicopter.
Is this a boat that we're talking about?
Yeah, that's the destroyer that the guy with the most mustache of all time shows up with. Brian brought it up, but I do want to say they very clearly say that they took a child and pumped him full of truth serum chemicals to make sure he was speaking the truth, which is insane.
Yeah.
And
they're doing enhanced interrogation techniques to Terry.
I love when guys who fought in Vietnam are like,
terrorist?
Do you mean the U.S. military is doing something illegal? Like, okay.
It is really funny. I do feel like there's this credulity that they have, and it's like, man, okay, we just gotta say it. Nothing about Terry's three dads makes sense, okay?
No.
Nothing about Terry's dad.
No,
Why are you on an untouched South Pacific island with your child, presumably on vacation? Why are there three of you?
Indiana Jones shit.
All refer to each other by surnames. Why did you all have scuba gear? Why? It's really funny. I support Terry and his three dads.
I also support Terry and his three dads. That was my first note too, is his three Vietnam dads are accosted by, and here's the thing. So the military is a mess because they arrest Terry. They're like interrogating him. They won't let his dad see him at all. Actually, his dad, we do know his dad's name, isn't it? Jack? Is it Jack?
It's Jack Pierce. Yeah.
Yeah. His name's Jack. And but the military also won't let Jack see Terry, but also is just going to let Jack do whatever he wants, because the next time we see them, they all, like Nico said, have fully kitted scuba gear and are trying to do like a Shadow Moses to get Terry back.
They basically are. They're three of the most beautiful gay men you've ever seen co-parenting one child are all doing Shadow Moses shit. I posted the panel where it shows, it's the second one of the ones I posted, where it shows them having like tied up and stripped of uniforms everyone on the boat, which they didn't put on the uniforms, so I don't know why they did that second part.
Yeah. One of them is shirtless a lot. Yeah.
Australian. What do you want to do?
That's true. Yeah.
The beginning of the Jurassic, the newest Jurassic whatever fucking movie is about a small American family on a boat crossing the South Pacific. And I thought for the longest time it was like divorced dad, dead wife, and then the wife shows up at the end. That's all I can think about is like, what were you doing with Terry this whole time, honey? On your summer vacation with your friends, quote unquote friends.
Oh my God! What if this was supposed to be just Terry's weekend with Jack, and it spiraled into this?
That's we learn a lot about how the mechs work through our Naoka. Did I get that right? What's her name?
Miyako?
Miyako.
We learned a lot from her.
Dostoevsky. That's her name.
Yeah. I love
No, that's the other one.
bugs. The bugs we see this time are different than the bugs we saw in the first issue. We also see the most fucked up military facility. Hey, I want to live in the world where the government makes a super secret program and they're like, we have to have all new fucking cunty uniforms for this. And we gotta make it look like an evil base with a giant shaft.
It's all fucking war crimes and fucking Claude has the nukes. It's never cunty little uniforms.
We learned that it's been implied, but we're getting all of the facts laid out to us, right? The first person who touches the mech is its pilot and it won't respond to anybody else. In order for a new pilot to use the mech, the old pilot has to die. And it appears that, like with some of the panels we get with Terry, it appears that the mechs are basically piloted by thought. Like there are controls, but it really seems like it's like a kind of an Evangelion situation where like in Ava, it's pretty clear that like you have those little trigger things, and if you have a clear action in your brain and you use those, the mech will do that. You know what I mean? So there's like a combination there.
A lot, because like whenever he was piloting, the Bravebird would just like give him like one button to press.
Or dangle the lever that says don't do this until there's a gay moment in the story that requires that we pull the new lever that's gay.
I presume if all three of Terry's dads had touched the mech at the same time, they would have had those levers.
They would have had a double Zeta situation. Double Zeta, but it's three gay dads. Judah is just kind of a supporting character.
No, he's Terry.
And he's three gay dads.
Yeah.
Are piloting the mech.
But yeah, so there's this ongoing thing. Again, this is getting kind of muddled. We get the sense that Terry is the central figure because for some reason his connection to his mecha is creating some sort of resonance that is drawing people back in. Like and I don't really have a clear issue definition, so if y'all have more clear notes, but like it draws in Miyako out of space. The Russians get the signal. The Russians do a very fun thing, which is like, hey, this island's in the South Pacific and technically in international waters, and so can we all just pinky promise each other not to hit the US warships and just take an action as a Soviet force? It'll be cool, I promise.
Deniable ops.
Nothing will go wrong.
Listener, 700 dead Navy officers.
So the Russians, she wasn't meant to be the pilot. She ends up being the pilot. And
she fell. That's right.
But what the Russians are doing, which is really cool, is they have made a fake versions of their mech to the best of their ability.
And
they understand that the only reason that they could only match that if they completely dissected the one they have, but they're like, that's killing the golden goose. We're not that stupid.
Well, especially because like it becomes apparent pretty quickly. I think they get the news that like Americans, we know for a fact the American military, because Terry at this point is supposed to be separate from this. He's just been kidnapped. But like the American military, Hire and Keen, have two of these. And so Rush only has one. So yeah, it doesn't make any sense to dissect this because then you will have none. It's like, woo. But you can see, I like the fact that it's like they get their hand on one and they immediately start trying to basically iterate on it and create their own versions, which is really interesting because I feel like the American exceptionalist approach the Air Force is taking is like, well, we've got these two machines, we just need the right pilot in there. And they're like, we've got plenty of pilots, we need more machines.
And the US is also saying we need more machines, but this is the same impulse we were talking about in Brain Powered Right, which is the US is going to say, okay, well, reacting to new information, we need everybody else's machines.
Yeah.
So
we have to control them all.
Yeah.
The escape scene's pretty okay. I like when the colonel is just like, the only way to unlock a door is to shoot it with a machine gun. What are you guys doing? Are you stupid? Colonel War Crimes as a character has an arc in here that ends with my new favorite reaction image of all time that I'm going to just start sending everywhere.
Oh, is it his weird face that he makes?
It's specifically the scene where he passes piloting to somebody else.
It's the last snip that I have.
I love this too because the feedback section at the end of this issue is like, did Keen die? It's like I know
Brother,
that some
they showed you a body on a gurney.
Yeah, I know that some comic books readers are kids, and I know that kids like to send letters. So like, I'm gonna give you a little bit of a break on this one, but yeah, motherfucker, Kid is dead.
He said, "Listen, we had one stupid hippie fly-by-night pilot that we were just dealing with, but he infected our good Air Force boy with too many problematic ideas, rock and roll music, and probably homoerotic montages we weren't shown due to, publishing constraints."
Yeah, so that's what we're getting between issues 2 and 3, right? Is we're getting Miyako's thing, we're getting the prisoners on the ship, and then we get what we're getting is Terry's 3 gay dads try to do a shadow modes to rescue him, and they are intercepted by a big underwater mech.
We have to be clear, they put them in a giant glass ball.
I immediately got scared. Sorry, I still have Zeta trauma. Don't put anybody's parents in a glass vessel.
Does this count as women in tubes?
You know what? I will count 3 gay dads in a glass sphere as women in tubes.
That's women in tubes, yeah, for sure.
Love, this is a very specific era of Super Robo to have an alien headquarter base that the heroes unlock.
Yeah.
Just the evoking of anime tropes in this is very fun.
Well, and I like the idea that, the U.S. Air Force and the Russian state have facilities that could maybe be retrofitted to be mech hangars. The most efficient way to have a mech hangar is to find an alien mech hangar to go with your alien mechs.
Oh, and speaking of the way this understands some of the genre stuff, one of the things that we're getting into here, especially when it comes to the Colonel War Crimes and all that stuff, is and one of the things Terry is going to wrestle with when he finally gets back in his mech is this thing that only I can interface with is giving me outsized amounts of destructive power. What do I do with that? Who has access to that? What are the ways in which I can leverage that to keep myself safe and keep the people I care about safe? All of those things are they're not a hard reach to get to if you're writing about Mecha, but I like that we get those named influences in Gundam and Macross, and we understand that these are tropes that this wants to deliberately play with because it has experienced these other things.
An interesting character for that we'll get into, the person who turns out to have kidnapped the gay dads, is Professor Bjornseth, who found it, who was Norwegian. Professor Bjornseth not only, found mechs, she also found the deep hold, which is what she calls it, which is a pretty good name for an underwater base. Why not?
Who are you? Just call me Deep Throat.
It's a pretty good name. Pretty good name.
You gotta hand it to...
Till it's not underwater.
Well, then it's gonna be in deep space. Still correct. Deep hold.
Yeah,
yep, got your ass. This leads to my favorite fucking reaction image that is so niche I'm never gonna be able to use it, but it's Professor Bjornseth is trying to talk to Terry's dad about why he should stop giving a shit about his stupid son who the U.S. military has kidnapped and get invested in marine research science that is only available because we got this shit without grants. Okay? Nowhere on Earth can afford a mech for us to watch the birth of a beautiful whale. And then a great white shark starts swimming the baby whale.
Okay, so that is some fucking hysterical comic book writing, because you have... This is the difference between American comic books and manga, because we're going to have this conversation about Bjornseth makes this poetic point about how she doesn't want to use her underwater mech for any destructive purposes. And she's like, come witness a beautiful miracle of nature that has no human influence. And then
I think especially poignant because this is coming out in 1987, 1988. We were in the middle of the whale crisis. We didn't have any whales. We were trying to save the whales,
that's a great point.
So this is profound. We were also 10 years post Jaws, so we were still in the hangover of fuck sharks for real. Which creates
the story is going to say, fuck this pinko hippie shit. We need to save this whale from a shark by doing America on it. And
please go to osgpod.com to look at an image of a great white shark being obliterated by a mech onboard combat system. It's the best image ever drawn. Thank you, Mr. Fogg, for your work on this one.
It's so fucking funny. And the other thing too is this issue opens with Hire has this weird pastoral hippie rock and roll thing going on. He says the line of all time, and this is how we open this issue. We're just getting random crap. He's escaped with Terry and his mech, right? And he's flying to. They've decided to fly to San Francisco. Don't ask me.
Closest American port. And San Francisco, the natural home of the hippie. He was trying to get like a region buff.
Stephen King is haunting us. This is what we all wanted in the 60s. This is what we all wanted in the 60s. Woodstock, communes, back to nature, the whole 9 yards. Motherfucker, what are you talking about?
White people sure wanted it.
I think it's what JFK wanted.
Oh, funny.
His head just did that.
I want to interject with one mech thing because we kind of glazed over Deephold, but there is a specific part where they talk about it. Quote, notice how everything is built in 2 scales. The walkway we're on is human size. The floor below is proportioned for the robots. Quote, and you have no idea who built this? Possibly the same people who built the Manta and the other robots, or perhaps the robots themselves built it. Transformers-ass moments.
I like the idea that the mechs were like programmed to build their own environment, which would be cool.
But then also make a little walkway for your little human pilots. The implications, the thing about this being such a small series, it's just telling a story, is we don't get to explore the, hey, why are these robots made for humans to pilot them? The implication, I love in any mecha when it's like, hey, the robots are symbiotic with humans to fight a parasite monster race. Like, that's great.
Because conceivably, we've never seen a mech that hadn't been piloted by a human. Because even when we find the one that's overgrown on the Pacific Island, the older guy, I don't want to just keep calling him like Aborigine Steve or something, you know, but like the older guy who's there waiting for the white boy.
You have done it now. That's what it is. Aborigine Steve.
He's just waiting there for white boy, but he was a pilot because when he dies, it passes to Terry. And so, like, we have not seen one of these that was not piloted by a person. I love the idea that it's like the cockpit could have looked like anything, but then everybody touches it and there's a flash of light, and then it's probably going to work for humans. Like you said, Alice, I love symbiotic mechs.
I also love to speak of the genre stuff, too. One of the things that's happening during the escape that Hire and Terry have is that Keen, the pilot of the Jolly Green, has been killed, and Colonel War Crimes, Colonel Merrick,
yeah, I think.
Merrick, yeah. Colonel Merrick has piloted it now, but because he won't go on comms, Hire doesn't know that, and so he keeps trying to appeal to Keen's better judgment without knowing that Keen's not who's piloting the mech. That's good shit. That's really good shit.
It's fucking hauntology.
Fuck.
You're appealing to the ghost of your previous wingman.
Real Kojima reveal, by the way, when he pops open his cockpit.
Yeah.
So we get about the next 3 issues is this fight in San Francisco, which is very cool. Something I want to point out on these 2 mechs, the Jolly Green and the Heavy Metal, and we see it in this fight more than anywhere else, is that they have these little spindly fuck-up legs and not flat feet to walk on. I just think that that's just, I love the little alien ticks that these things have.
And they're kind of functional too, because Iron Maiden looks like it is gonna Macross transform into a jet at any moment. I don't think it ever does, but that's an interesting touch there. Yeah,
Jolly Green definitely does. Jolly Green has like the wing silhouette. And I also think it's interesting, at the end of some of these issues, they had just the like mech illustration, and like, you know, they had like little detail points for, hey, Americans, have you never been a Mexico before? Here's your first mech spread that's going to give you all the little labeled parts of your mech so you can become a Mexico. It's like so many children with their hands on this issue are like, oh, someday I will build 500 Gunpla.
I don't have a snippet of it, but there's another great reaction image that I think is actually quite out of the context. I think if you looked at the image of Hire's reaction when he peels the plate off of Merrick's cockpit and sees that it's Merrick in there, it looks very goofy. His face is drawn very like cartoonishly surprised, but it gets the point across of like, I've been trying to appeal to this person who's not in there. And now that I see who's in there, he is now realizing like, I am not going to be able to get out of this without killing this motherfucker. Like, this motherfucker is too bloodthirsty. I have to buckle in now. I could have gotten through to the other guy. I'm not getting through to this guy.
Well, especially, like you said, they're fighting in San Francisco. And we get the sense from what little we got of Keen before that Keen was a guy who would not be into civilian casualties. So, like, these appeals to him to stop this fight, if nothing else, to minimize civilian casualties, would have worked on Keen. They don't work on Colonel War Crimes. But, there are so many weird, funky little drawing moments. Like I said, it feels like you can feel the budget running out, which is so funny because, like, the penciler and the anchors, as far as I'm aware, stayed the same. So all you can put it down to is, like, time crunch.
Crunch,
or like
yeah.
deadlines.
Feels very time crunch.
And it is really funny to juxtapose some of these panels where it's like, whoa, this is doing something really cool, with like one where it's like, okay, you were just trying to get through this fight, which involves, admittedly, a lot of buildings, a lot of technical design, like a lot of. There's a spread that I posted where the deep hold has emerged from the ocean, is now like entering San Francisco, basically. It's a really cool shot. It's also incredibly technically dense. So you can tell it's like, okay, if we've just got to do a reaction shot of a human, like, let's not spin the lines there. Let's spend them somewhere else, But there are some really good ones.
Terry figures out how to remote activate his mech, and so it's actually slapstick because the Russians have gone to the island and are walking up to Terry's mech as he figures out how to reactivate it, and so it just takes off, and they're like, hey,
man, we were stealing that. Come on, man, we killed 700 Navy seamen to get this thing.
Can't be calling them seamen.
I realized after I said sailors, I was like, I should have been saying seamen this whole time. 700 dead seamen.
I can't explain enough that this ends with a fist fight in the streets of San Francisco, and then the big evil colonel is like, now I have to kill myself and give the mech to his dad, which is how it works, I think?
Crash and burn, baby. I'm always going to be down for pilots having to basically shell out of their suit and fight fist to fist, like primordially. Unfortunately, I don't think it was earned here, because I really do think they were like, how the fuck do we end the San Francisco fight? Okay, maybe the mechs are too damaged. Okay, the mechs are too damaged. Put the mechs on the ground. And then they have to extract people, which creates like really funny sequences of like, I posted a snippet where I think it's Bjorn Seth, but it's hard to tell because the female characters look nearly identical. Yeah, I think it's Bjorn Seth because the mech is more circular.
That's Mantis.
Puts down Terry's dad just like in the street.
Yeah.
You want to talk about people leaving Terry and Terry's relative in the street.
This is one thing I want to talk about. This was just so funny to me because it's like one of the standout quotes of mecha genre to me is in Evangelion, where towards the end, when like the whole shit's breaking down, the world's ending, Misato says the line like, Asuka's actually in the safest place in the world right now, and smash cuts to Asuka in the cockpit, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the safest place in the world.
Yep.
I love in this when Hire has Terry in his cockpit and he says, okay, good luck. He literally drops him onto the streets of San Francisco immediately before leveling it.
Yep.
Yeah. It is really funny. It's like, hey man, you're just going to be rattling around in here. It's like, you're just going to be, if I take a hard hit, it's still 1980. I'm not using my seatbelt as much as I should. Like,
you're a fast little kid. You might be able to outrun a falling building, but I can't, it's
you're going to be a distraction. You're just going to be rattling around in here.
The aliens have shown up. We get very few cool, like, again, the time crunch shows here, but they're also trying to tell a story, so we can't have massive spreads of mecha fights over multiple pages. But we get some pretty cool shots of the different mechs fighting, including Terry's unit. The 2-page spread with Deep Hold showing up, I think, is the money shot for the entire series.
Yeah.
But yeah, this
that's
fight
when you
is
see all
kind
the
of
mechs
just like
together.
hand waved away that we destroy all these mechs, and it's obviously like we're wrapping up the 6-issue series and setting up what will be future stuff if it happens.
And to an extent, it makes sense because the mechs all being damaged, it gives them a reason that everyone needs to get on Deep Hold. Because it's like, well, this is the only reliable non-state hangar that we have access to. So if we actually want to keep using these robots and do anything with them, regardless of what our agendas are, we need to get them repaired, get them on Deep Hold, which is, it brings our characters together in a real way.
Yeah, and then Deep Hold just kind of takes off, and they're like, oh, okay, I guess we're doing this now.
Yeah.
We're in space. I do, okay.
Miyako just says, welcome to hell. I love her so much.
She's so
what
good.
Do you do? She's Doom Guy.
I want the AU where they're all just hanging out on Deep Hold talking after this. Terry does the one thing that no adult thought to do, which is, maybe I just ask my robot what's going on. And he proceeds to brain dive into the entire history of this intergalactic war, pops open his cockpit and says, hey guys, I am now in charge of all of you because I have the leader unit, and I am the only one who did the work to be like, maybe we shouldn't fight country against country anymore. I like this. This is very super Robo in a way that really resonates with me.
I also really like one thing that Terry points out is when he's like, yeah, you dumped me on the streets of San Francisco while you were leveling it. And so while you were punching Colonel Warcrimes, trying to kill him, 3 women showed up in their robots to competently deal with this situation. And we literally get 3 headshots of these women in battle poses and their mechs. We get headshots of their mechs, which all have slightly different facial structures. We get their names. It's like, hey, remember these women. And it does just drive home to me. Listen, it's not hard to woman mog Zeta, but they really... It's like, it's such a difference. And it's like not even cultural because America wasn't any better in the 80s about women. And yet... I really appreciated this panel of like, hey, here's these women from all over the world who are really competent, who showed up to save Terry's bacon, who he specifically calls out as like, hey, I immediately knew I could trust them in a way that like he had to have a hippie sequence with Hire to like build that trust. And he doesn't yet know that Merrick's mech has passed into the hands of one of his gay dads via suicide. So like, he's like, well, at least I have these 3 competent women. Even if one of them is telling me welcome to hell.
Well, and it's
staring
good because
into the
they establish that he's met the other male pilots, so he knows them personally. And so this is just him being like, I now know them in a way that makes no sense for the plot, but because we're all connected through these units, I know them.
Well, and like I said, I know it doesn't make a ton of sense for the plot, but I do like the idea that, like you said, Brian, he got dumped out on the streets of San Francisco. I like the idea that he immediately was like, okay, there's 3 people who are also in my situation who seem to be trying to, you know, de-escalate the situation, even if they do escalate it. Like, okay, there's 3 more people here. Like, I feel like he's tracking the situation even before he does the mech brain dive a little bit better. And I think it might just be because of peril, because he's not wrapped up in the mano-a-mano fist fight that Hire is having with Colonel Warcrimes. So he, I think, is seeing more of the broader picture. You know, even before
what do we think of him kind of stepping out of the cockpit at the end here, and he abruptly has like a Charlie Sheen Vietnam headband. Like, hey, Dad, this is my nom. You're in my nom now, Dad.
He did get it from, I do think there's something interesting going on with Hire where he very clearly is the generation that just missed the draft.
Fourth gay dad. Fourth gay dad.
Well,
fourth gay dad.
Okay, that's your fourth gay dad. But I could also see fourth gay uncle because he is the generation that seems to have just missed the draft. So he's living in the cultural moment that was produced by it, whereas Terry's 3 gay dads literally served. And so I do feel like there's an interesting thing multi-generationally where it's like Terry is being raised by these 3 guys, and then he is sort of like uncled for a little bit by this guy. That's where he gets the headband, like Alice was saying. He gets the headband from that sequence with Hire. And then like, yeah, it is really funny when he emerges. He really does just like...
He literally says, we're going to war. Okay, General Terry.
It's like, hey, a brown spiritual man told me that I have to embrace the warrior spirit.
Aboriginal Steve.
Yeah, Aboriginal Steve told me I have to embrace the warrior spirit. It's a bit of a hot mess, but you know what? I really enjoyed this, Brian. I did
too.
This as like
I'm
a
not
period
done talking
piece.
about it.
Okay, keep talking about it. Sorry, I was just looking at it.
Wrap up.
I'm not wrapping up.
Moment.
I was just being nostalgic about what I read.
Okay. So I want to talk about one thing that this does and that these scans have, because we talk about a lot of historical parts of Mecha, and a lot of that is kind of lost to the sands of time.
Yeah.
But what these give us and these scans give us is something that I love, which is fan comments, reader mail.
Yeah. Reader mail.
So,
oh my god,
this is something that comics used to have, which is you could write in and they would just print it and respond to it in the back. I looked this up because I was interested, and actually, Japan did it first. So the first reader mail was in shonen magazines in the 1920s. So that's where it started. It didn't start in America until the 1940s, because I always wondered which one came first.
So cool.
And this is comics specifically, right? Because we've always had letters to the editor that would sometimes get printed.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Comics specifically.
in the 30s, what are those? They have a specific name because people would have responded to these. It was there were 4 panels specifically.
4 Coma?
Oh yeah, 4 Coma.
Oh, okay. I guess Yon Coma, which Yon is 4.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
They would respond to the reader mail as the characters in a 4 Coma comic, which is really cool.
Yes.
Hey, I gotta say, if you like these, Full Metal Alchemist has some all-timers.
Oh,
of just like weird little 4 Comas, like, hey, somebody wrote in and was like, what about this AU? And they just do it for a second. It's really good.
Those are fantastic. People should read the Full Metal Alchemist manga for many reasons.
I read through all of these because I think they're really cool time capsules, and I do want to read one and put it into the podcast because I think it evokes what our fan base is and what fans of Mecha are now. Dear Mecha Maniacs, I've noticed that you seem to get quite a bit of mail criticizing Robotech comics, but the writers nonetheless support Mecha. I, for one, am a fan of both Mecha and Robotech, as well as many other, quote, Japanimation, end quote, type stuff. I hope that your readers keep in mind that while Mecha is certainly good, it is not the only manga in the sea. Like Eddie Welch, I would appreciate if you could print my full address so that any potential pen pals out there could respond. I'm trying to learn the Japanese language, so if there are any Japanese-speaking fans out there who would like to have a pen pal, ... Thank you, sincerely, Kevin P.O. Box, Bowling Green, Kentucky, 42102-7306.
Young Kentucky weeb!
Otacon!
Okay, no, sorry, that just gave me the beautiful mental experience of trying to imagine Otacon with a Kentucky accent through the whole game series.
I think we are in a golden age of quote, Japanimation, end quote, fans.
Japanimation, y'all.
And I think our Discord is the pen pal version of the modern era.
All right,
that's
please
fantastic.
read out the entire invite URL, please. It is located in Kentucky, by the way, spiritually.
Discord.gg/ I forget the rest of it because it's letters and numbers. But these are cool. This is like, Brian brought something really cool because this one blog post is so much history in a capsule.
It's such a good read. People should read it for sure.
It's literally an hour. Flip through it. Probably not on your phone. I think it's worth a tablet at least.
No, honestly, I will say, as somebody who read it on my phone, please try to find a bigger screen because the PDFs are in spreads. And that's really helpful, especially, again, for like really big scenes like the arrival of the Deep Hold on the surface in San Francisco. It was really frustrating to pinch zoom. You can do it, but again,
if you really respect women, and by women I mean comics, I guess, I don't know, you'll read this on, like me, which is on a 32-inch curved monitor.
Yeah, you need to be surrounded.
Yeah,
by hire.
I read this on the tablet I own just to read Yuri manga, so
that's the highest
experience.
honor you could bestow on Mecha.
That's an honor. Yeah. Agreed.
I just want those three to les out. Is that so much to ask?
Yeah, me and my notes all the time. I should have kept a scoreboard throughout the run of our podcast with how many times I've just made the note, I want such and such to les out. Because it's in the notes.
Yeah, thank you for reading that, Alice. Some of the comments I'm sitting here like, fandom has never changed. Being a fan of something has never changed. But that was
same.
But that was very cool. And I also like the ones that are like kind of backwards comments. Like, I don't think this is. Everyone around me is always saying that this is the biggest piece of shit I've ever fucking read. And I don't think that, though. You know what I mean? It's like stuff like that.
People at my comic store say it's a piece of goddamn trash that nobody should read.
It's so funny because, like, who are you talking to? They're not reading it. So.
Also, there is one in the same episode 6 that I think speaks a lot to why this series died, which is, Dear Sirs, what happened to Mecha? The first 2 issues were great, but then it seems the series disappeared. I get the impression that it was doing well, but issue 3 never hit the book stands. Well, at least it never hit mine. Is this available? And then he goes on to say, hey, we have them. Order them direct from us. Ordering direct comics was a thing at this time. And, like, even if you were in bookstores, like, it was up to the owner. If he said issues 1 and 2 didn't sell well enough, he's not buying issue 3.
Yeah.
Maybe he reads, hey, this is coming out and it's now in black and white. And he's like, people at my store don't want black and white comics. And it's decisions like that can kind of kill the momentum. The fact that this was a 6 series over 10 months, that kills your momentum. Comics and any media like this is built on, hey, we just had the first new Star Wars film in 7 years. Have you thought about that? Like, killing the momentum of your franchise is real.
Yeah. And I will say that reminded me to look up, like, another major factor in kind of a lot of the complicated economics around comics is Diamond Comic Distributors, which are the distributors that deal with Marvel and DC. And so they are like the professional distributors. They are going to offer the best prices to your local comic shop to get a shipment of anything. It's really hard to compete when you literally basically have like a wholesaler, and they've kind of got a monopoly, which isn't great even for the big two. But like, you've got this wholesaler and everything else is like a special order. I think a lot of stores are more willing to do that nowadays because they really appreciate the foot traffic, and because people will come into a comic shop and they will probably buy more than just their pulls if they are a person in like the year of our Lord, in my time, 2020 or 2014. But like, if you're still doing that in the year of our Lord 2026, you are like their lifeblood. They will order anything for you. But at the time when this was still like you could get some comics on the shelves at supermarkets, you could get some comics
and
like
Dark Horse is still small and rocky. Like, and the thing about the independent comic book stores too is that like it's easy to be risk averse because like I said, the capitalist impulse in comics and manga specifically make this very narrow corridor where it's like actually this is really just endemic to capitalism. There's no one-off, right? Anything that happens must be a reflection of some sort of systemic like ontology, right? Like if something does well, you must iterate on that forever because that did well. There's no such thing as a fluke. There's no such thing as a one-off. If something did poorly, it must be something specific about that we can never do again, right?
Yeah, and I do think that this was during this like painful transition period where that was being figured out, because I feel like I read a really interesting quote recently, and I don't remember who it was attributed to, so I'm sorry about that. If you are listening and you know, please like, mention it different places. But there was a quote that was basically like, the last redoubt of capitalism today in 2026 is IP, because we are now at a place technologically where if you want to make a film on your phone, you can. An iPhone 16 will set you up pretty good for a lot of different shots, even if you are a cinema.
You can make 2 28 years later films with iPhones if you wanted.
Right? Like, you can do crazy shit with it. Drawing is more accessible than ever. Getting your stuff online is more accessible than ever. We are being choked by social media, but like, it is so much easier. And again, I mean, this is the virality thing that people chase. Like, you just need to produce like one good thing, and you may build a kind of organic following in a way that like studios had to cultivate. So now the tool that studios have at their disposal, they no longer have the monopoly on quality cameras and production. They no longer have the monopoly on, writers. They no longer have the monopoly on like inkers, the bullpen in comics, whatever. What they have is IP. And that
Goku, yeah.
Yeah, like what they have is they have the rights to Goku and you don't have the rights to Goku. Like,
not for 40 more years.
Yeah, I feel like we're in an interesting transition phase when we're looking at Mecha as a comic, because we are actually on the downturn for the big two, heading into the 90s. And people are looking at independent projects, but we are still in this phase where the older forms of distribution, consumption, and production are still in play. Again, I thought a lot about the 7-week delay on doing color versions of this comic, and I was like, that seems like such a rude slam on their colorist. And I'm like, no, their colorist has probably turned it around in the same amount of time as their inker and letterer. Printing. You're going to different printers and different distributors and different binders. If you're doing color comics and then trying to get those out the door, then you would be like, it's so interesting how many factors went into that.
Most modern comics are now digitally colored. This was manually colored, which is an insane process.
But that's what I was saying. Like, I mean, maybe the colorist put them like a week and a half or 2 weeks behind. But I was really thinking, it's like, I feel like they wouldn't have published that if it was entirely the colorist causing a delay, because that is a slam on one named guy.
No, really, you've got to get behind like 17 Superman comics to get printed in
That's
color.
Exactly it. And between manual colorizing and press printing, there are so many margins of like this small logistical thing can completely crash an entire like project, multiple projects.
We can talk about it now. I love Taylor Swift, as we all know. I'm a Swiftie. But she's basically ruined the LP industry because she buys out the production capacity. And so small bands that might be able to put out an LP with like 1,000 pressings are now behind the 17th version of The Fate of Ophelia because Taylor Swift is just milking it and in stage capitalism, in the same way that Marvel and DC have always choked out smaller comics.
Yeah. Hey, if you work at a boutique vinyl operation, because I know they exist, because a lot of City Pop actually gets released on boutique vinyl to niche audiences.
Yes, they do.
Shout out, you're braver than the troops. Thank you for continuing the fight against Taylor Swift.
As good as her music might be, which I don't think it's that good, it's not good enough for the outsized effect she's having on like virtually every part of the entertainment industry.
And on the climate via jet fuel.
And on the climate. Anyway.
Check out Cromulent Records for affordable and accessible US City Pop LPs.
All right, Alice, what do we got? What's next on the docket here?
I'm checking my notes here. 1 second. Oh, shit. Aboriginal Steve is here, and he says we've got to rate these goddamn mechs.
It's crazy that was one of his requirements, but, like, you know, we got to know.
After we do that, I'm going to die, and he's going to be reborn in my younger body.
That's so true. That's exactly what should have happened. We should have had Aboriginal Steve piloting Terry, piloting the mech.
Perfect.
Holy shit.
Layers. Let's talk about let's rate the mechs.
The Mechs.
The Mechs.
Let's rate some
Alice,
Mechs.
what's your Mech rating?
Okay, this is hard because there's very little of it. We do get the supplementary material gives me a lot. I like the Robotech of it all. I like that they are each unique units and a unique color. I like how they interact with the pilots. The cockpits are neat. I'm gonna level with you. If it weren't for the little bee mech that our little Japanese woman was piloting, this would be a lot lower. But honestly, like, it does some cool things. I like the tendrils in the necks. I like bee mech a lot, but there's just not enough to get me that excited. Like,
okay, yeah,
damned by its lack of content. This is gonna be a 4 for me. It's just not that strong. It's just not strong enough for me.
Nico?
Yeah, I do feel like this is, again, one thing that suffers from, you only have 6 issues, you're with an indie press, you have production issues, and you are also trying to formulate, like, a design identity. Like, I think one thing that's very interesting here is that, like I said, you know, we're seeing the fingerprints of, like, anime. We're seeing the fingerprints of the mech genre coming back to us from Japan, influencing the art and the design that is going into this comic. We're seeing a lot of different versions. You know, like I said, it's like we've got a Macross type, we've got a Gundam type. I think the Nadesco Estevalis is a good pull for the B-Mech that you're talking about, Alice, because it does incorporate kind of a... it almost has a little bit of a Transformers vibe in terms of it looks a little bit like a Decepticon in coloration and some of its, like, plating.
Sure.
But then it has this huge sort of organic feature on it that reminded me, again, like, it postdates it, and Nadesco came out later, but, like, there was something in the water around the designs of, like, the tulips. And, like, again, like, we talked about this in a previous episode that had this kind of weird organic flowering design. Like, that was something that was really interesting to illustrators, and I don't know if that was ambient or if people were seeing each other's things.
Probably both,
and, like,
right? Because
big
flower in space is such an arresting image conceptually.
Yeah, and it looks
no matter
alien,
what.
but it also evokes, like, something that is drawable. Like, you can actually look at a flower and put that on a page.
Yeah.
There's so much spaghetti being thrown at the wall. One unit I want to highlight is Manta, which is Bjornseth's mech. It has a lot of roundness to it. It has a lot of things that look like fans that you would use to propel, like, a operated manned sub underwater. Like, you know, it has these different little elements of that kind of design, which, of course, I love from, you know, when we covered the Ghost in the Shell manga, some of my favorites were the ones that were based on, like, Masamune Shirow drawing, just like, okay, this is equipment that's used in deep sea exploration, and it looks like a weird bubble creature or whatever. Like, I like those kind of things. The problem is there's so much spaghetti being thrown at the wall. And again, like you said, Alice, like, we get a few hero shots. We get a few, like, mech fighting mech. You see the full body of the mech. You get to look at the mech and you go, whoa, mech. But we don't get a lot of that because they had to also try to tell a story, and then they ran out of issues. Like you said, I mean, just the material's thin on the ground. There's a lot going on here, and they didn't get to come up with kind of a coherent visual identity in the way that I think by this point in anime, we're seeing, like, you know, when Zeta came out and everything was transforming, that is a visual theme, is like everything needs to be able to transform into something that looks like something else. And we just don't have that there. there's not really consistency here. And again, it's experimental, but unfortunately, this is what we have. So I didn't want to figure from any of this, but I did like the effort, so I did give this a 5. Bri, where did you land?
Yes, I think like I totally agree. With Nico's point on this. It's the vast discrepancy in shape language and like visual like sensibility here makes this seem just kind of like a pastiche, or just like a it has the energy sometimes of like a just like a cameo fest kind of. And that's also me being poisoned in 2026 by a brain that's been just saturated in a deluge of IP paint thinner that is just going to march all these characters across your eyeballs. But I think so. Okay, I'm gonna read the from the very beginning when Stradley's kind of talking about the comic and what Mecha is. He says, what the Mecha are is fairly simple. Huge humanoid-shaped machines driven in much the same way you would drive a car or tank or pilot a plane or spaceship. What their purpose is here on Earth and where they came from are the underlying mysteries of the story. And I like the place where Mecha as a genre is at this time. I think that's like such a fun this is trying to do something very specific, which is just like say to American audiences like, hey, look at this, right? And that's I still don't understand the nuances of the relationship between Robotech and Macross, but I will say my read on it is there's a lot of effort that went into Robotech that was also in that spirit, and I want to pay credence to that. I like separately, I like all of these designs. I don't think there's anything about the mechs that evokes, that like reinforces the designs, why they look like that. Like we said, because we don't know anything about where they come from right now, and we're having to judge this space just based on where we're at. There's just kind of like no sense or reason to it. And so I think I'm going to give it a 6 because I agree. I'm basically on the same wavelength as Nico, but I want to give it an extra little bump for just having that, like, this is like an important early enthusiast work that creates like a big cultural like tidal pool that we have right now that enables this podcast.
It creates Kentucky Weeb, which is just really fun.
It creates Kentucky Weeb.
If you're still out there, please reach out.
Hey, guy, if we
I
just read
hear from
your
Kentucky
former
Weeb.
home address. Well, it's a P.O. box. Smart thinking.
It's a P.O. box.
If we just read your former P.O. box,
if you once lived in a P.O. box in Kentucky, please write.
If you were Amelie-sized and you waited every day to feast your eyes on the huge, sumptuous artworks of comics.
If you were cracking eggs with spoons in your P.O. box in Kentucky, please write into the show.
When we finally do talk about Robotech, in the same way that we finally saw Super Robot, and my co-hosts maybe are not as hot on Super Robot as I am. I think Robotech may be a different reaction, but since those are kind of the two things in conversation with where Mecha came from, I think it'll be interesting.
I would say I'm as into Super Robot as I am into Real Robot, as I am into the genre distinction between the two. There's a lot of really great Super Robot that I'm really. Nico's the hater. That's what I want to say.
I'm the hater.
Because I think of like Giant Robot FM. Shout out to them. We're covering Grover right now. Giant Robo, the animated freaking series. I fucking loved that. So
yeah. Nico, by the way, did you read the Mazinger Z manga on your phone too? That might explain a lot.
Yeah. Listen, I do most things on my phone. Hey, I've got a really cursed one for our next Gundam installment about how I watched that. So get ready for that. F91, I think. I've got a great picture to show y'all about how I watched that. Brian is just
we already recorded that episode, right?
No, I was trying to think of what the next...
I may have just forgotten to share it.
Are you talking about Iron-Blooded Orphans?
No. I'm talking about F91. I forgot to share the image. Hey, I watched that on the Nintendo Switch.
How? Yeah, let's take a break. We're going to come back and play a game.
It was on YouTube and my internet wouldn't stay connected on my Linux laptop.
Hey pilots, Alice here. Not to be an anime heroine with you here in the break, but well, I called you back behind the school for a really important reason. It's just, I've been so happy spending all this time together talking about mechs, watching giant robot anime, and building Gunpla kits together. All those wonderful days, laughing at the silly plot of Price of Smiles, sharing G-Savior with our friends, and even when we all cried at Pacific Rim 2. I really cherish you pilots, That's why I can't keep this inside of me. I have to ask you a question. Okay, here goes. Will you please rate our podcast 5 stars? It really helps us with the algorithm. I mean, you can share with your friends too, or just post about it incessantly online. It would mean so much to me. Whew. Glad I got that off my chest. Well, all right, pilots. See you back in the episode.
It's what it deserves, really, I think.
Honestly, of any of the Gundam properties to watch on a Switch screen.
I was trying to say, it's just, I don't know why, but my Linux laptop, if I try to watch a YouTube video longer than an hour, I was trying to watch the Grand Theft Auto streams that Tom Walker did. It doesn't just disconnect from the internet, it turns off the internet adapter.
All right, welcome back from the break.
Yeah, let's do our podcast that we do.
This game is called I Have a Game, by the way. We're back from the break and I have a game. I don't know if you're new to this podcast, we come back from the break and we have a game now. This is a game.
If this is your first episode, welcome.
This is kind of a good first episode.
Welcome.
Honestly, it's not a bad one.
Anyway, Having Fun with Comics is the name of this game. This is a very standard trivia game, except I don't think you're going to get any right because I'm not giving you any options. You just have to guess the answer. You have to use your instincts and your vibes, and you have to be creative and come up with something good. Stealing is available because it's just up in the air. This is literally just about weird comics things that happen. All right.
I just want to get out in front of this. I feel like Iris and the whole crew of comics creators who listen to our show while they're doing various stages of this. First of all, shout out. Second of all, you're going to be yelling at your...
You're going to lose your mind.
I feel like.
You can't skip this. This is a mandatory part of the episode to listen to, but you are going to suffer. Because you'll never guess, but this is a very low lift trivia game, and I didn't dive too deep into any of the details here, so I'm sure it's fine. Okay, question 1's for Nico. In 2002, Marvel Comics published a 6-issue run penned by notoriously weird comics figure Bill Jemas called Marvel, which was full of insanely racist and edgy humor that was so out of character and sometimes only legible to Marvel executives who had inside jokes. The first 2 issues required joke prologues at the beginning in an attempt to justify the insane humor that went into the writing. Which beloved Marvel Blowbo, for all intents and purposes, says the N-word in the first issue of Marvel? In 2002.
Okay, but this is a very interesting time for Marvel, because like I said, they're in the slump. Yeah. They're in the bad slump. Yeah. They made too many foil Spider-Mans, so they're fucked. But also, this is just ahead of the Ultimates universe, which has the edgiest possible version of Captain America? Was this Captain America that said this? This is my answer.
That's incorrect. Alice, would you like to try to take a guess?
I would. Yeah. It's in the Marvel universe. It's the N-word.
Oh, it was Howard the Duck.
Black Panther.
Oh, that's also incorrect. The correct answer is Iron Man.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Again, like, Ultimates universe, everyone is shit. Like, the only good thing... I'm going to go on the record. This is an official OSG stance. The only thing good to come out of the Ultimates universe was Miles Morales.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I like Miles Morales.
No. That's it.
But no, to speak of the slump, just to point it out, Bill Jemas is very associated with this period of Marvel because he had my impression is that he had some high highs and some low lows that were lower than possibly anyone else in history. Besides Rob Liefeld, who we are going to talk about today. Anyway,
yay!
Question 2, Alice. The X-Statics were an X-Men-like, or maybe are, an X-Men-like superhero force in Marvel that is supposed to be like a slightly humorous, satirical take on the celebrity culture present in some of the Bronze Age comic book runs.
Okay.
One of their posse, a handsome, keyword, young Hispanic man named El Guapo, could telekinetically control his skateboard. How was El Guapo brutally murdered?
Wait.
Killed my man El Guapo?
What series was
The X-Statics.
The
This is early aughts. I know this sounds like a 70s thing that would happen, but this was early aughts.
No, the skateboard. The skateboard and killing El Guapo.
He died in the tower collapse in 9/11.
That's incorrect. Nico, would you like to try to take a guess?
Damn it!
That's a good
Somebody
guess.
beat him to death. Somebody beat him to death with his own skateboard.
I'm gonna give it to you, actually. What actually happened was, and get ready for this, a witch cursed his skateboard and it impaled him Green Goblin style.
Okay, that's really good, because I was a little afraid that this was just like an edgy response to the whole thing where the Joker kills Jason.
Jason No. Jason.
I think you're closer than I am, because the two names I pulled were Jason Bourne and Jason Statham. I don't think the Joker's
oh my god, it's
Jason Bourne Statham. No, you're talking about the Killing Joke, right? Where he like electrocutes him to death? Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, is this an edgy response to the Killing Joke? No, this is a normal witch-related skateboard impaling.
Normal, yeah.
Watch out for witches.
Question 3 is back to Nico. Tarot, I actually wrote Width of the Black Rose. Witch of the Black Rose is a racy BDSM comic from Broadsword that several almost certainly male readers felt was the pinnacle of female empowerment, which included being sexually harassed by every single other character all the time, constantly. Which of the following 3 scenarios... Actually, this one is multiple choice. I forgot I put one multiple choice in here. Which of the following 3 scenarios occurred during Tarot's decade-long run? 1. Fighting an octopus with the ghosts of firefighters who died on 9/11. 2. Dealing with a random civilian's haunted vagina. 3. Litigating a weaponry exchange disagreement between Thor and an ancient witch hunter named Skeleton Man.
I need it spiritually. I need it for me. This one's for me. I need it to be the octopus and the 9/11 firefighters.
Yeah. Trick question. It's actually all 3. They're all true.
Oh my, yes! Oh, we're so back. We're so back. Octopus.
I don't think any American comic book fan can say shit about Japanimation ever again.
You can't be weird in that specific way. You can have informed cultural critiques, but they have to be so informed, and Edward Said is looking at you, because if you say anything surface level, we're posting the octopus firefighter pussy situation.
Also, on the record, my pussy isn't haunted.
Mine is.
Nico's been very quiet about it, but mine's not haunted.
I noticed you haven't complimented my unhaunted pussy.
I think my pussy might be haunted, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, it is.
All right, Alice, this next question's for you. Really simple one for you. This superhero has the astonishing ability to freely detach his own limbs. What is his name?
Oh my god, I know this guy. Oh, fuck. I've got to go back in the vault.
Leprosy Man.
That's kind of close in a weird way, but that's incorrect.
That's unfortunate.
Nico, what?
The Phantom Limb? Oh.
Also incorrect. I'll let you have that second guess, but it's incorrect. Nico, do you have one? I know you're trying to get in there, to get into the Mind Palace.
I know, but all that's in there is fucking Witch Hat Atelier facts right now. Fuck. That's not going to help me. I feel like this guy was in... Wait, is this a Marvel character? Or...
Yes, he's a Marvel character. I think his big thing is that he like tried out for the Avengers and didn't get in or something.
Okay, because there is a DC character like this who is in Suicide Squad.
Oh.
Or the Suicide Squad, whichever one is good, with the big starfish. I don't know.
Yes.
Lego Man.
Yeah.
Leprosy Man was a little bit closer. His name is Arm Fall Off Boy.
Okay, I love when comic books just have the one gimmick character off to the side.
Like Calendar
Invincible
Man.
had too many of them, but yeah.
All right, Nico. A 2003 weird like slice of life run of Marvel issues included Trouble, a run that describes the mundane life of Peter Parker's parents as well as Aunt May and Uncle Ben as promiscuous, euphoria-coded teenagers walking around in their underwear. What plot twist at the end of this run recolors Peter Parker's entire life for literally no reason?
Aunt May and Uncle Ben and his parents were swingers with each other.
That is correct.
No scoped.
Pineapple Live.
The exact fact is that Aunt May is secretly Peter's mom, but yeah.
Oh my god. We should kill
freaky
Marvel.
Shit in the bowling alley glee.
We should take Marvel's huge, fucked up, bloated corpus and cut it open in the street and just feast on it. And just take all of its offal out and spread it across the boulevards. It's kind of how I feel about that.
Yeah.
You got another question?
I do have another question. This one's for Alice. Batman has had some weird plot lines, including like that one time he teamed up with Clifford the Big Red Dog, and that one thing Frank Miller did where he was like a Nosferatu creature, etc.
Yeah.
But what canonical landmark literary novel everyone read in school did Batman randomly reenact for an entire issue?
First off, I have to put my Batman impression out there because I think it's pretty good.
Okay.
Where is she?
Oh, okay, it's your Christian Bale impression. Got it. Yeah. Swear to me.
Where is she? Swear to me.
No more lies.
No more
Sorry, I just wanted to do a different one.
Fuck. The Great Gatsby.
Incorrect. Nico.
I feel like that's got Batman energies.
It has Batman energies, which makes it too good of a guess, unfortunately. This is weirder than that. Nico, what's your guess?
No.
If this is correct, I'm mad.
Okay.
Was it Of Mice and Men?
No. That would have been so funny.
For like 30 seconds, I was living in a universe in which Batman did Of Mice and Men.
No, he did Grapes of Wrath.
Was he the one getting shot, or was he the one shooting?
No, it wasn't Grapes of Wrath. I'm kidding.
Batman can't use a gun, so we.
It was Moby
down.
Dick.
Okay, no, pause. Did you say we read this in school, or did you just say it was a great literary novel?
It was a great literary novel everyone read in school. Did you guys not read Moby Dick in school?
We did not fucking read Moby. What? Did you read Moby Dick in school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I straight up did not read. Y'all, is my critical lens suffering because I did not read Moby Dick?
I'm gonna be real with you.
No, it's because you watch things on your phone.
Oh, but I don't be on them reels. I do not be on them YouTube shorts, though Brian has been making excellent YouTube shorts. I do not be on them fucking TikToks.
I don't think so, because frankly, I don't think Moby Dick is like that good of a book. Like, I'm gonna be sorry to like everyone. I just
all I know about it is like he and Queequeg have something going on. That's what I know about Moby Dick.
Sure. Melville's like one of those like I don't know that I agree. I think you were fortunate to have entered the canon because of the things in society that are set up to make you succeed automatically.
I think that one episode of Futurama where the big brains make them go through a bunch of different literary works is all you need to know about any of those. Oh my god,
yes! Okay, question 7.
Do we think that Moby Dick moved units because of Melville's exhaustive analysis of whaling industry shit, the way that a book about trains will move units with rail fans? Like, do we think they were like whaling otakus who were like, yo, Moby Dick just dropped? Like
Whaling
hard sci-fi
otakus.
fans? Whaling otakus.
What if Hideo Kojima was like actually really into whales instead of 80s action movies?
Well, we've seen that. It's called Death Stranding.
Damn. And Metal Gear Solid 2. Yeah.
On the Beach.
Yep.
And Dishonored. A Kojima franchise.
Kojima did not make Dishonored. I didn't just get that name out of your mouth.
Corvo, this is a sneaking mission.
Watch out for Rat Man. He has the power to control rats.
All right. Question 7, Nico. We got to get some Rob Liefeld in here. Liefeld, known for drawing really bad drawings that look bad and are bad, and for some reason are inked and colorized looking really bad, and also he writes badly. Once penciled a holiday comic after attaining the rights to Jack Kirby's Fighting American figure, which apparently allowed him to make up all sorts of extremely strange rip-off Avengers, including literally just Purple Hulk. What is Purple Hulk's name, and what is his catchphrase?
Purple Hulk's name is Gregory, and his catchphrase is, well, I'm not happy.
I fucking wish, dog. Alice, do you have a guess?
I love it, Slut.
I think his name is Polk, which is Hulk with a P instead, because he's purple. And I think his catchphrase is, you wouldn't like me when I'm mildly inconvenienced.
God. Oh, these are good guesses, but unfortunately, you guys have way more creative juice in like your little toenail than Rob Liefeld has ever had in his entire career. Purple Hulk's name is Smash, and his catchphrase is Smash Smash.
I stand by Gregory.
I think Gregory's way better than Smash.
Well, I'm not happy.
Well, that just happened. All right, question 8. Alice. Everyone knows about the infamous Spider-Man plotline where he became a giant female spider and then died and then gave birth to himself in that order. But I bet you didn't know that he once went toe-to-toe with CB talking Southern drawling Razorback. What does this deep South inspired superhero from the 70s look like? And what's his superpower?
Oh, he's a Klansman. He looks like a Klansman. And his superpower is nooses.
Okay, that's definitely incorrect. I think so. I think,
but yet it feels thematic for Spider-Man because like the web and the noose and the Gwen Stacy
for Spider-Man. I think it's more likely that would have been in a 50s or 60s Spider-Man plotline.
Oh,
this is 70s. Yeah. So Nico, do you have a guess for a 70s CB talking, Southern drawling, freaking Deliverance looking motherfucker named Razorback?
I think that he looks like the primary actor in the film Convoy, which is an adaptation of the 3-minute song Convoy.
Okay.
And I think his superpower is trucks.
Okay. That's also a really good guess. These guesses are like better than the real truth. The real truth is that he wears a plain green lycra suit with a big pig's head cowl over his whole face. And he doesn't have any abilities. He's a Batman. He's a gadget guy.
You're a gadget guy, and your suit is
a pig.
And the CB radio thing at least makes sense. That was a fact. He was topical. He's like cell phone man.
Pager guy.
Maybe we've made all the heroes we need to make.
Yeah, I think we hit it high point calendar man, and then we kind of fell off.
There's I don't know if you guys watch Red Letter Media, but there's the one phrase that I love, which is, but what's his story?
Oh, it's like, who would play her?
But what's his story? Yeah, and who would play her?
All right, we have one last question. It's a special kind of question. Alice, can I get a read of this?
This is a bonus.
Thanks.
Question.
I put my OSG arcade token into Alice's mouth, and she has to say it.
That's actually how it works, and you know where that token went. Wait, you said mouth. Shit.
Wait, you specified. Damn.
I got real Battle Angel Alita mechanisms down my throat. That's all I'm saying.
The first person to shout a guess is going to get the guess, and their guess may be correct. You might already know about this. I didn't know this, and I am gobsmacked by it. What seminal mecha adjacent anime got a short-lived American comics adaptation where the Avengers are battling the titular villains?
And it started as a Japanese anime.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck. Okay. Robotech just seems too easy. I don't think it's Robotech. It might be Robotech.
I'm gonna say mecha adjacent again, just to kind of give
mecha adjacent.
Yeah. Mecha oriented, I should say.
And the villains are the title. You said titular villains.
I did.
Oh my god. Big Fire? From
Well,
is it Big Fire?
Well, that's not a titular villain, but that's a good guess.
Oh.
Okay, well, I'll have one more guess because this one's hard.
Okay. I got nothing. I can't think of a single anime that like the villains are the title, though I'm sure you're gonna say it, and I'm just gonna be like, oh duh. Yeah, obviously. Madoka Magica.
I need you to just tell me. I need to know
Madoka
now.
Magica, yeah, that's a titular villain.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, I guess
yeah.
Madoka's the villain of the movie.
Magica was the villain.
Yeah, damn. Anyway, no, it's Attack on Titan.
Hello?
I think I knew about this because they did a ton of cross promotion. Remember, Alice, they had a cross promotion with your beloved game Assassin's Creed Shadows?
Yep. I paid money for that. We ain't talking about it. Attack on Avengers. Amazing name.
It does imply that the Avengers are the villains.
Yeah, it doesn't even work. That's a stupid fucking...
If you meet Captain America on the road, you must kill him.
I just gotta... This one frame alone sells me on the entire idea.
Oh, please post it. Oh, shit.
It's the armored titan behind the Statue of Liberty as the Guardians of the Galaxy.
And Hooked on a
airdrop
Feeling
in.
is play. Oh my God, kill me. Brain rot.
Of course it's drawn by this guy. Oh my God. This is such a nightmare. You know it's a problem when there are this many credits. Like, that's not good in a comic. You need like 4 maximum, maybe 5 if you got a really crazy good like letterer. You don't want 8 plus a heritage credit. That hurt. That one hurt. Thanks, Brian.
You're welcome.
Oh, don't worry. Somebody's made a personal fan project of the Avengers fighting a Titan in MMD. This is great. I'm obsessed with... I'm gonna be down hole for a while after this. Yeah, this is bad.
Yeah, it looks awful. This was a great game, guys. Thanks. To keep the scores, this may be...
I like that you thanked us. Oh, the character I was thinking of. Oh my God, they should make out. Hey, I need these 2 characters to les out.
What, Arm Fall Off Boy and a different guy?
Arm Fall Off Boy and the other character who they have shortened to TDK because they really want to make him seem cool. This guy is the detachable kid. Arm Fall Off Boy and the detachable kid sounds like an indie rock outfit. It's like insane how funny that is.
And the detachable kid.
The detachable kid.
Hey, Brian, great game. What the fuck?
Yeah.
We'd be doing stuff in American comic books. Yeah. Damn. Anyway, we have a flash transmission. Oh, wait.
Oh, shit.
Sorry, I forgot to mention Nico won. Nico's the only one who got any points with 2.
I don't like the points that I got. I'll say that. I don't like them. I don't want them.
I watch too much anime to know this shit.
It's true. Anime's doing awful weird shit in a different way. That's very true. All right. This one comes to us on our Blue Sky. I didn't respond to it just because I thought it would like slot into this episode's topic very well. Psychicbuttercup.bsky.social tagged us and said, desperately need to know if y'all have seen the Ultimate Jameson from Shiro Masamune's other cyborg action manga. They didn't title it, so I don't super know what this is from. And maybe I'll pull up the original post so I can actually read the text on this panel because they posted a panel of it.
The Adeptor Jameson-san.
I need to go into my
I like
mentions.
that it has an honorific.
Okay, I did find a full unredacted copy of this Attack on Avengers,
Unredacted Jameson? Are we posting unredacted Jameson?
Oh yeah, when this got sent, I was wilded. It's so cool.
There's supposedly around 3,000 full body prosthetic cyborgs. This is people are in like this is a Ghost in the Shell ass looking room with a big cyborg body and people are gathered around it. There's supposedly around 3,000 full body prosthetic cyborgs worldwide. Still, the number of adapters, people whose systems completely accepted the prosthetic, is low. The success rate's weirdly low because we haven't developed an OS that transmits human brake signals to a prosthetic body precisely enough. The official number has never been publicized, but rumor has it there's only around 10 or so around the globe. The first officially viable full body prosthetic cyborg, Adeptor Jameson-san, real name John Jonesy Jack Jameson.
Oh, they got 4J?
So in this manga, it looks like the Jameson is the only type of cyborg body that was working right now. And it's called the Jameson because the guy's name is John Jameson.
I can't believe they did. First of all, I can't believe they didn't call it 4J.
What is this manga? Shiro Masamune, other cyberpunk
I'm obsessed
manga.
I'm obsessed with Jameson.
Appleseed?
No, it's other, they said. So I wouldn't think it was Appleseed. And this looks digitally drawn, right? This looks newer.
Are y'all ready for us to have to cover Appleseed someday?
Yeah, kind of.
I try to bring it up periodically. Alice pointing at the steelbook.
It's right here. We have to do Votobs before we do Appleseed.
We got to do a lot of shit.
60 years, baby.
10,000 years.
Since a Jameson-san could just be a box, like if you got a Jameson, would you just do the box? Would you do another fun shape?
Oh man, I've thought about this, and you know that that one like caterpillar from Super Mario 3 that's just kind of like bopping up and down, and he has a flower on his
it gets
head.
really pissed off.
I'd like to be that.
Okay, yeah.
Like a human centipede of Jamesons.
Yeah, I was with you till you said it like that.
10-second clip of Human Centipede by Tom Hardy. I famously once played a character who was an AI who could inhabit different bodies. Alice, do you remember Toaster Rock? I played a character named Androctones 004, and at one point she was in a little rectangular body with wheels and one arm, and it looked like a toaster. And so I think I'd just be fine with your factory model Jameson. I just want somebody to make me like a custom case. I would go on Etsy and get a custom
I would want
Jameson
stickers,
made.
and
Oh no! You know what I'd want that would freak people out? I would want a clear panel.
Oh, like a Glacier, like the Game Boy Advance type shit,
or like just like a gaming PC with a glass side. Yes, I want everyone to look at my internal organs.
Okay, here's my pitch. I want the box, but I want a screen that lets me display little ASCII emojis, like that one drone that we had. Yeah.
I think that would address any kind of like body rejection if I could just do little.
I wouldn't have to talk like 60% of the time. People would know what I'm about if I just gave them the sarcastic looking ASCII emoji or the table flipping one.
Yep. That's just true. That's literally just true.
Was there a guy who wore an ASCII mask in the Seminole? We can't get into this. We've been here too long. Thank you for sending us little freaks. Please anybody send us little freaks like this.
Always,
if you ever see a little freak, your next thought should be, I've got to send this to osgpod.com. I've got to send this to questions@osgpod.com. I've got to at them on Blue Sky.
And then your third thought should be, I should give OSG $30 because as we've reviewed, that is the only way to get us to read anything.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is just true. So.
Oh, all right, gang. Do we have any final thoughts on Mecha?
This was fun. I like when we explore things that I have never heard or considered of because the net is vast and infinite.
True.
I think people should just go read this. Honestly, it's an hour of your day. Read a comic book. It has words in it. That's more than you're doing watching TikToks.
TikToks have words, idiot. Captions.
Never seen a word in TikTok.
People are
Never seen a TikTok.
People are reading all of Jujutsu Kaisen through videos of someone reading a manga.
Brian, I didn't want to know that. I don't want to know. Hey, listener.
Hey,
I don't think you are in this demographic. I don't think we have demographic crossover with the people who are reading Jujutsu Kaisen through TikTok. If you're reading Jujutsu Kaisen through TikTok, come out to my farm. We're going to spend a day just digging in the soil, moving some rocks around, composting, pulling some weeds, standing at sunset, looking out. And we're going to look out towards that road and I'm going to clap you on the shoulder. I'm going to say, the library has Jujutsu Kaisen. Please don't do this again. And I think you'll have learned a valuable lesson.
Yeah, agreed.
So that's just sort of my PSA. I think that's also my closing thought.
The library might also have Mecha. The library has comics, guys. Go read a comic book.
The library has motherfucking comic.
Read a comic book. We
have motherfucking... Library has Hoopla. Library has motherfucking Libby. Library has everything. Library has summer reading programs. My library has fucking adult summer reading programs. You can get a bingo card so you can feel good about your life. Okay? For once in your sorry goddamn life, you can feel good about it. Go to your local library.
Thanks for listening. Pilots, remember, you can reach out for advice from the team at our email, questions@osgpod.com, and send us little freaks. And non-pilots can send general questions or feedback to the same address. You can also catch up with us on social media. Links are in the description for updates and more. You will find a link to the show Discord there. Come hang out. They are now doing, they finished a watch of Turn A. Now they're doing a watch of Eureka 7, which is the best anime ever made. So if you want to watch
also,
the best anime ever made, you should come to the OSG Discord.
If you intend to be alive in 2027, which I'm looking at all of you, you should be planning on that. That'll be relevant. That'll be it is up to me, and I said you should.
It's up to me. Yeah.
It may be relevant to your life to have seen Eureka 7, so maybe you should watch it.
Probably watch it. Make sure to check in back in 2 weeks when we will be discussing something.
Hold on.
Atlas.
Oh my God.
The
bangers only.
Netflix mech movie. Real excited.
We hopped on our big tray. And we said goodbye UC, good riddance UC, and we marched right on over to America, and that's where we're staying for next episode because we've got the J-Lo fucking movie.
I support women, so I'm ready to be really enthralled by this one. I'm ready to be transported by the J-Lo vehicle.
Goodbye. I love you, and you're not from New York unless you're J-Lo. J-Lo is the only one who's from New York.
Goodbye, listeners. I love you.
Goodbye. I love you.